Hello, my football lovers. It is GCTV, and yes, we finally have our webcam back. We have some slightly better quality, but we have a brand new week of football. This Monday night game's going on, but I doubt that's going to be a close one because the Lions just won it by 2 touchdowns. I'm doing a tradition. Every single week we'll try to get a new jersey. I don't have an Aaron Rodgers jersey. What I'm planning on doing is however many points the Packers score in the week, the closest jersey number to that is what we're using. It would be Aaron Rodgers this week because they scored 10, but my next alternative was Brett Favre. So rocking the Favre jersey this week. We will try to get an Aaron Rodgers jersey. I'll cycle through the other ones and then we can look for an Aaron Rodgers jersey. We're going to get into the games. We have a few to talk about. Oh, fuck, my camera's fucked up. My bad. We can fix that. That's all right. But we have probably about 5 or 6 games to talk about this week. So there you have it. Let's get into it. First things first, let's talk Steelers-Patriots. We're going to skip the Thursday night game. There really weren't that many good games this week. But we're going to talk about the Steelers and Patriots because Aaron Rodgers, the guy I was supposed to wear a jersey of, throws 2 touchdown passes. The Steelers forced 5 turnovers. Very much a defensive week. Very much a blocked kick week. We will get into some of that in a second. They beat the Patriots by 7. Aaron Rodgers doesn't think the Steelers did nearly enough with the chances they had with the ball against the Patriots, and honestly, they didn't. The Patriots aren't really that good of a football team. They haven't really been a good football team since Tom Brady left. They kind of just squeaked this one out. It was an entertaining game. Aaron Rodgers, obviously Calvin Austin, being on that receiving core, being a really big part of that receiving core. Drake May fumbled the ball. 5 turnovers. That's something the Patriots are going to have to fix because going into this week, they were actually looking like a hopeful football team. Obviously, Drake May was finding guys like Hunter Henry down the field, and we'll talk about the performances in a second. The Hunter Henry-Drake May connection appears to be pretty strong through the first couple of weeks, but kind of looking at things, Aaron Rodgers, a pretty quiet day. I mean, 16 for 23 through 2 touchdowns. He did have a pick, but so did Drake May, and I mean, Drake May, 28 for 37, 2 touchdowns. They weren't really getting the ball down the field. Pretty quiet game offensively, but like I said, very big defensive week in general around the league. Drake May also had 7 carries for 45 yards, so just kind of trying to be that dual threat guy that a lot of people didn't really expect him to be. You get Calvin Austin with 3 catches for 34 yards and a touchdown. Hunter Henry had 8 for 90 and 2 touchdowns, and it was really all about that defense for the Steelers and really was led by guys like TJ Watt and Patrick Queen, so shout out to those guys. Next up, another really good defensive game. We are here to talk about the divisional battle between the Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Brian Thomas Jr. comes up big late as the Jaguars send the Texans 0-3 with a 7-point victory. We're talking about a Texans team that went from winning a few playoff games a couple of years ago to going 0-3 to start the season. Not a great look, and honestly, shout out to the Jacksonville Jaguars starting 2-1 as well. Brian Thomas Jr. was frustrated by his latest drop and the ensuing boos that he slammed his helmet into the ground near the bench, came back into the game, got some redemption. Really fun game here. Travis Etienne had a go-ahead touchdown. CJ Stroud and Nico Collins were making connections all game. Nico Collins, obviously one of the more consistent wide receivers in the NFL. You get a Jordan Lewis interception on CJ Stroud. Not really sure who that is, but shout out to him. Bashul Tootin got in the end zone. I don't know who the fuck that is. I guess like their receiver or some shit. I don't really know. But kind of just looking at the performance of CJ Stroud, 25 for 38. He threw a touchdown, but he also had 2 interceptions. Pretty good game for Trevor Lawrence, 20 for 40, 222 yards. He also threw a pick. It was just a really sloppy week of football here. I mean, not really much going on. 8 catches, 104 yards, and a touchdown for Nico Collins. And Strange, I don't really know who that is for the Jaguars. He had 6 catches for 61 yards. I don't really know any of their defensive players, but they were able to muster out a win, and apparently they're doing something right because they're 2-1. I don't know. CJ Stroud's kind of looking like shit. I mean, he's somewhat accurate with the ball. He just can't get it down the field, and he continues to make a lot of mistakes. The sophomore slump seems to have followed him into the next season. Next up, we will be talking about the Rams and the Eagles game, an NFC showdown, and this game was a full fucking fiasco. It really started like the momentum of blocked kicks and thriller games in this week of football. But man, Jordan Davis, speaking of which, that blocked kick seals the Eagles' 7-point thrilling win over the Rams with the Phillies' second blocked field goal of the fourth quarter. They blocked 2 field goals in a game. There's some franchises that go a whole season without blocking a field goal ever, and 2 in a fucking quarter. That's insane. Jordan Davis clutched the ball in his outstretched right hands. He reached the end zone and had no choice but to freeze and meet the mob of Eagles sprinting his way. What a goddamn game. I'm not a huge fan of like the Eagles, but it's really cool to see them win in that fashion, and obviously there's like a little bit of riggedness it seems with it because there were a lot of blocked kicks this week. They seal the win on a blocked field goal. Obviously Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith. This was a huge comeback. I don't know what the hell the Rams were doing. They were up, I believe, 26-7, and they allowed 26 unanswered points for the rest of the game. Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown also, I mean, Jalen Hurts was doing pretty well at distributing the rock to his receivers. Actually a really good game, and a lot of people were talking shit. I don't know why. He played really good. 21 for 32, 226 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And he was able to get each of his star receivers a touchdown. Dallas Goedert got a touchdown, so all the stars really got one. Matthew Stafford threw 19 for 33, 196 yards, and 2 touchdowns, but he did throw a pick, which was, again, again, costly when you're trying to put away a game. Not really a lot going on in the rushing game, but Puka Nacua had 11 catches for 112 yards. He was just unstoppable, finding green grass in the open field, hitting out routes on everybody. It was awesome. A.J. Brown, though, 6 catches, 109 yards, and a touchdown. Man, that Eagles defense, shout out to Jordan Davis, not only blocking a kick and scoring a touchdown, but also getting a sack. You have Cooper DeJean continuing to be one of the better young defensive backs in the league as well, so that is awesome to see. Up next, speaking of comebacks, one of the better comeback quarterbacks in the fucking league, we have Baker Mayfield, and I'm really happy to see the success of this Tampa Bay Buccaneers squad because he leads an undefeated Buccaneers to another thrilling victory. They win by 2 over a winless Jets. Not a great start to the season. You obviously have the injury of Justin Fields kind of looming over that franchise. Baker Mayfield led the Buccaneers to another thrilling finish, ensuring Tampa Bay's best start in 20 years. I mean, we're talking John Gruden days. It's pretty awesome. Really good football being played here. Chase McLaughlin hit a walk-off kick, and he single-handedly kept me in the week for fantasy. I had him, so that was awesome. A lot of crazy late-game sequences. Again, blocked kicks, all this stuff. The Jets, I do think the Jets blocked a kick or something, but then it was a crazy game. There were a lot of games that seemed kind of scripted this week. Will McDonald blocked field goal for a Jets touchdown. We had 2 blocked kicks for a touchdown. I think we had 1 more blocked kick. Obviously, we'll get to my Browns and Packers here in a second, but what a fucking week. What a crazy week. Shout out to Garrett Wilson. Despite the loss, he got a touchdown. He had 10 catches. Tyrod Taylor, not terrible. I mean, 26 for 36. He threw 2 touchdowns. He did throw a pick, though. He also had 8 carries for 48 yards, so he's kind of proving, even with his age, he's still a pretty good dual threat QB. Not bad, especially at the backup position. Baker Mayfield, 19 for 29, 233 yards and a touchdown. The comeback is real there, and man, one of the best young receivers in the league already. We see Emeka Egbuka going 6 catches, 85 yards, insane one-handed catches against guys like Sauce Gardner. He was just unbelievable. I mean, Levante David, though, he was all over the goddamn field for that Buccaneers defense. Got to give him some credit. The veteran continuing a legendary career. But I'm really looking forward to seeing this Bucs team. Egbuka's playing good. Obviously, they lose Mike Evans, but again, Baker Mayfield's grit and Egbuka as a player, it's awesome. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Packers, Browns. God damn it. Andre Smith's 55-yard field goal through the rain as time expires rallies the Browns to a 3-point victory over my Packers. Andre Smith has gone from being nearly run to town to being one of the most popular Browns players in Cleveland. That man's jersey sales are going to go up. My goodness. Fun game here. Just a really good defensive game, and you can't really complain about some defensive football. Now, obviously, my Packers didn't come out with a win, but it was a fun one to watch. Again, shout out to Andre Smith's. Obviously, the Packers had a field goal, but they blocked it. I think we would have won had that not been the case. Man, Quinshon Judkins, this game really proving to be a speedster, really proving to be a really good fucking football player. Another great product out of Ohio State. We're seeing it out of Egbuka. The shit is just not fair. Jordan Love, terrible pick thrown to Grant Delpit, but I like Grant Delpit as a player as well. And I don't know, Jordan Love, I mean, he played all right besides the pick. 18 for 25, 183 yards and a touchdown. He did throw that interception, though. Joe Flacco threw 21 for 36 and threw a pick. He really did get carried by his defense this game. Josh Jacobs, really quiet week, but I mean, Quinshon Judkins, 18 carries, 94 yards and a touchdown. That is fantastic. And you get Matthew Golden. Nice to see him actually get some touches, make good grabs, rack plays, 4 catches, 52 yards. And they got a young guy in Schwessinger over in Cleveland that's really just helping elevate this defense. Shout out to the Browns. That's a pretty dope win, but it really sucks to see my Packers lose to a team like that after just beating the Commanders and the Lions. I do think we'll end up covering the Monday night game, but first let's get into the Broncos-Chargers. We have 2 more Sunday games, and then we can get into the Monday game. Justin Herbert rallies the Chargers for a 3-point win over the Broncos, and they are another team in the league with a 3-0 start. Another team I'm happy to see with that start. I like Justin Herbert. I like Baker Mayfield as quarterback, and that's awesome. Keenan Allen wasn't catching Justin Herbert's throws early, but the veteran wide receiver made a play when it mattered most. Really good football game here. Obviously, Cameron Dicker, a legendary young kicker in this league, and walking it off, and they start undefeated. Justin Herbert, insane passes. I mean, the guy's been playing out of his mind this year. MVP caliber play, I would say. I mean, he did throw a pick, but he still went 28 for 47. He threw 300 yards in the touchdown. So solid stuff in today's league when there's a lot of defense out there. J.K. Dobbins had a really good game, I would say. He had a nice stiff arm, nice touchdown, 11 carries, 83 yards in that touchdown. That's what I'm talking about right there, man. Najee Harris, he had a non-contact injury. Prayers up for him, but I mean, in his place, they have Amari Montgomery and Hampton going out there scoring a touchdown. He should be a solid young guy on this team. And just kind of looking at everything else, Bo Nix 14 for 25, 153 yards and a touchdown. I mean, not a terrible game, but he definitely could have done more. He was a little quiet, and I mean, he really was relying on Cortland Sutton, who had 6 catches, 118 yards and a touchdown. And Quentin Johnston continuing to have an impressive start to the season with 6 catches, 89 yards. And speaking of the defense for the Chargers, man, what a game for Derwin James, continuing to be another legendary veteran in this league, and that's great to see. So shout out Derwin. Next up, we're going to discuss the hospital team and the San Francisco 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals. Man, the 49ers, I don't know how they've been doing it. They've been mustering out the 3-0 start. Just crazy to think. My goodness. Eddie Piñeiro's last-second field goal lifts the 49ers to a thrilling 1-point win over the Cardinals. San Francisco 49ers had lost another star to an injury, giving up a fourth-quarter lead on a safety, and were relying on a backup quarterback and a brand-new kicker to maintain their perfect start to the season. Just talk about a Cinderella story to start the season for the Niners. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of concern. Nick Bosa's not coming back. Brock Purdy got hurt. George Kittle is going to be out a little longer, and you have all these guys getting hurt, but they come out with a win, and it was another one of those fun defensive games. 49ers stay perfect. Shout out to Eddie Piñeiro. Going from team to team, he was on the Panthers, he was on the Bears, and now look at that. Seems like he's found his home. And getting a safety as a franchise is quite demoralizing, but they were able to manage it. And I mean, Ricky Pearsall had a crazy catch, and then Kyle Juszczyk, that was a beautiful drive they put together there. James Conner is obviously out for the year. That's another big season-ending injury for fantasy owners this week. That really sucks. But I mean, Trey Benson's all right. We'll have to see what he does for them. And just kind of looking at the performers, Kyler Murray, not much. I mean, 22 for 35 and a touchdown. Mac Jones continuing to play pretty decent. 27 for 41, 284 yards and a touchdown. He did throw a pick, but he was really out there just feeding the rock to Ricky Pearsall. 8 catches, 117 yards. Dope, underrated young receiver in the league, so I love seeing that. Marvin Harrison, barring a few drops, played okay. 3 catches, 44 yards. A little bit of a quiet game offensively for them. I mean, you don't have Nick Bosa, but you look at that Niners defense, and you have Bryce Huff and Fred Warner, really good football players out there. We'll see. I think Bryce Huff was on the Jets at a point. I'm not really sure. All right. Let's wrap up the week. Let's get into this Lions and Ravens game. There's a decent amount to talk about here. Really high-scoring offensive game as we expected, and unfortunately, one of these teams had to fall to 1-2. One of them had to go 2-1, which is quite surprising that we were even in that spot. But you look at it, I mean, my God, David fucking Montgomery, fuck you. I was like 1 catch away from Jahmyr Gibbs winning me my fantasy week. But nonetheless, shout out to David Montgomery. 12 carries, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns, easily the best performance, I guess, besides Jonathan Taylor, but we didn't really need to talk about them because the Colts are dominating, man. We don't need to talk about that, but holy shit. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown keeping the Lions drive alive, crazy 4th down conversions, and he played pretty good. 7 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown. This Detroit Lions offense, came out week 1, had a pretty shitty start to the season, and now they have just been on top of it. And I mean, even Jared Goff throwing 20 for 28, 202 yards and a touchdown, just being consistent there. Shout out to Aiden Hutchinson for punching the ball out of Derrick Henry's hands. And Derrick Henry, a lot of fumbles this year. I mean, he did score a touchdown this game, but he's gonna have to hunker down and stop with those fumbles because it really cost him the game. Jahmyr Gibbs had 2 touchdowns, but it just wasn't quite enough. I wish in garbage time they would have handed it off one last time. Amon-Ra St. Brown through 3 games is 4 touchdown catches, so that's pretty impressive. Shout out to Amon-Ra. But just kind of looking at the rest, I mean, I can't say the Ravens played bad. Lamar Jackson threw 21 for 27, 288 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's efficiency. That is MVP level stuff. I mean, Mark Andrews had 6 catches, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. He played great, but there you go. The Lions have guys like Jack Campbell out there playing pretty well, so shout out to all those guys. That's going to do it for the week. All right, everyone, like I said, that is going to wrap it up for this week in football. I don't think I missed any games. Now, if I did, you guys can let me know in the comment section or roast me, but I'm kind of looking through here, and I think I covered all the games I want to cover for this week. It's going to be a pretty short video. I think it's going to at most be 12 minutes long, but we're going to work with it. I'm going to start editing it probably tomorrow because I got to work on movie stuff and do daily challenges and all these different things. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the videos. Let me know how your team did this week. Fantasy team, actual favorite football team, whatever. We're going to be covering stuff all season long. We're going to be doing this, so we still have 15 more of these videos and then the playoffs. So we realistically probably have about 20 more of these recaps. So we're just getting started with the season, and I'm very, very excited to say that. Obviously, my Packers didn't play as well as I wanted to, but leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff, follow the socials, do everything else. GZTV every single week. Again, you can find me here, and it's a good time. So click that noti bell.